Oh, hey there, friends. What is up? Back at you. Once again, it is ya boy, Chin, that freaking Mark, here to talk about some graps in a nutshellish form. So you know what? We're going to do exactly that. Kicking off this here edition of The Graps, we have Alexa Bliss opening up announcing the men's Money in the Bank participants, and it is going to feature Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin. And basically this is one of those segments where everyone's in the ring and they're all arguing. It was groundbreaking. We've definitely never seen anything like it before. You know, egos are getting heated thanks to that extent, and Braun suggests a tag team match between himself and Ricochet going up against Corbin and Drew McIntyre. We have ourselves a commercial break, and guess what? We come back from it, and a match exactly like that is going on. And it was actually kind of great because Corbin basically gets punched by Drew, his tag team partner, for stealing the victory from him last week. So, fuck you, Corbin. That is karma in effect right there. And yeah, that basically led to Ricochet and Braun Strowman just completely owning this bitch. It was Braun Strowman slamming Corbin's ass down, Ricochet flipping on him, and then them winning in an effort together. Next up, we have the Usos versus some Good Brothers, and right off the bat, we just have the sound guy fucking up. But you know what? That's not the Usos' fault. That's the sound guy's fault. I'm going to have to say props to the Good Brothers on this match because I thought for sure with just all the talks of them leaving, WWE was going to job them out. But no, they actually held their own and actually looked like a formidable tag team, so that was a good thing. It didn't mean they were going to win by any means because they definitely still ate the double super kick splash for the Usos to win, but regardless, they still looked like a strong tag team. And then after the match is done, we have the Usos pulling some Schoolhouse shit. It's a video of the Revival. Specifically, Dash is shaving Dawson's back because he's a bro, okay? There's nothing weird about it, Usos. Didn't you guys say that you, slept together one time because you're brothers or something? Next up, we have a Miz TV turned into a match. It was basically just The Miz and Bobby Lashley arguing over their stats, and then that, led into a match because egos, and this is wrestling. Actually, sorry, it was the specific mention of The Miz's father that led into a brawl, which led into a match, because that is just a thing anymore that pisses Miz right the fuck off. We have this match just going along as it would, and then guess what happens? That is right, dick move of the night. And it's not specifically the act of Shane McMahon coming out that is the dick move. It's the act of Shane McMahon coming out and that distraction alone being the thing that leads to Miz losing and getting speared by Bobby Lashley. And then the brawl afterwards, actually. That was also pretty dickish of you, Shane. He also showed another picture of the Miz's dad's face on screen, so I should probably mention that too. Next up, we have the Viking Raiders. They're still the Viking Raiders going up against the Lucha House Party. And the Lucha House Party jumps them before the match even starts because it's like some comeuppance for what had happened the week beforehand, right? That makes sense. But, yeah, the Viking Raiders still kick a whole bunch of Lucha ass all up in this match for sure. They basically get the Viking experience, not their old name, their finishing move, in within a couple of minutes here. And then after the match is done, Lince Dorado comes in and tries to beat some ass because he was the one member of the Lucha House Party who was not a part of this whole scuffle. But he then in return gets his ass laid out for attempting to defend his friends. So just next time, don't even try, I guess. We next up have another moment of bliss, and is going to be Alexa announcing all of the women's participants for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Who would have thunk it, right? And we have a pretty good lineup here. We have Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, and, drumroll please, Alexa Bliss herself, as she's just talking about how she can't stand people who are just handed opportunities and blatantly puts herself in the match. It was fantastic, but Naomi didn't appreciate it too much. She's just like, you think you're so big and bad? Well, let's have a match right now so you can prove it. Initially, Alexa Bliss is like, no, I'm not really in the mood for that. But then they poked enough of her buttons where she was just like, okay, god damn it, I will face you in a match, so let's just do that. We're having the match, and prior to the match, Alexa did mention that she wasn't wearing the right shoes for this, and she was completely right, because the whole story here was that Alexa's shoes kept coming undone, and they really did. She had to keep stopping so she could tie them up and shit like that, and that was her demise, because it led to her just getting distracted and Naomi winning. Sorry, Alexa. but it's nice to see wrestling again. Next up, we have Becky Two Belts coming out, cutting a promo, where the moral of her promo is basically that she doesn't really give a fuck if she has to do 2 separate matches at Money in the Bank because she's Becky Two Belts. And that's what being Becky Two Belts requires. At a certain point, she does call out Lacey Evans because, she has one of those title matches. And Lacey Evans comes out being like, yo, I tried to be a lady, but you pushed me too far. And then they have themselves a brawl. And then we have a good old-fashioned, the refs and security come out, but do a horrible job at separating the two. Next up was the most pointless match of the night. It was Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, which is, I forgot that they were the Raw Tag Team Champions, going up against the Revival. The most notable thing in this match was the shave your back chance that was happening throughout. And then Zack Ryder won with a roll-up, but it was more of like a backslide type thing. It was weird. We then have ourselves Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio, a WrestleMania rematch, in fact. And before the match starts, Joe comes out, cuts a promo, and he's just like, you know what? Your son is ashamed. That's why you should have done what you did years ago and bought his ass a mask so he could cover his ugly face up. Sick burn, Samoa Joe. Mysterio comes up and they have themselves a good match, much longer than the one that they had at WrestleMania. But the way it ended was kind of weird because Mysterio wins with a roll-up, but the size difference there is just kind of unbelievable to think that Rey Mysterio is going to beat Samoa Joe with a roll-up. So he's like, for one, struggling, and then for two, he just like literally had to stand up so he could even do it. But regardless, Rey Mysterio won the match, and Dominic comes out and holds his father up on his shoulders. Has Dominic signed a WWE contract already? Is that why he keeps showing up? And then our main event for the night is one of my least favorite style of wrestling segments in just recorded history. The good old-fashioned contract signing, this time between Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. And you know what? They just had their little back and forth talking about who's awesome and respect and all that jazz. And there's a little bit of tension because towards the end there, AJ puts his hands on Seth's belt, but it's just so he can hand it back to him, right? Kind of, but he really just distracts him and then punches, kicks, brawls, blah, blah, blah. Of course that's going to happen because it's a contract signing and these things always happen. We did get a phenomenal forearm through the table. That was pretty sweet. All in all, this segment ended exactly how I knew it was going to, so I guess that was comforting in a sense. Alrighty guys, and there it is, and there it was, another episode of Monday Night Raw in a nougaty nutshell. And there is a grading scale for you, as it normally is. How was this episode of Raw? Kind of weird. It was what it was. And just based off of saying that alone, I'm going to give it a D's. No further explanation. Hey friends, if you have stuck around this far, I really do appreciate it. And if you hit the subscribe button, hold my Lancer, we can just be best friends, alright? It has once again been your boy, Chin, that freaking Mark, here talking about the Graps. Tomorrow, gonna be here talking about the Graps. So I'll see you then. Hell yeah? Hell yeah.